Operation 112, Project SHAD, the dispersal of large amounts of bacteria and viruses by the United States Navy during 1962 to 1973. The United States government, the United States Navy, dispersed viruses and bacteria all over the United States to study disease transmission. These are scientific and historical facts. Now, across America today, like in Manchester, Tennessee, and in Raleigh, North Carolina, and at Ticonderoga, New York, and in Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Tampa, New Orleans, Seattle, Washington, all over the nation from Baltimore to Atlanta. Massive, unbelievable amounts of raw sewage are being spread and dumped and flushed all over the America's waterways. Now, I wonder how many American families would send their children to school if the school was cleaned with raw human sewage. I wonder how many congressmen and senators and presidents and foreign diplomats would attend a state dinner where the kitchen and dining room and the dishes had been washed with raw human sewage. Now, this is a question to the American corporate media. Why in the flying hell are you people keeping this quiet? What's the deal with these government sewers spewing billions and billions and billions of gallons of raw human sewage into the Great Lakes, into the St. Lawrence River, into the Mississippi River, into the Hudson River and New York Harbor and the East River and Long Island Sound and the Potomac and the Chesapeake Bay? What in the flying hell is the Tennessee River receiving 36 million gallons of raw human sewage from Manchester, Tennessee in the middle of a damn pandemic? What does the government think it's doing? Now, I want you to ask yourself honestly, would you go to a restaurant for a meal with your family if you knew that the kitchen and the restaurant had been wiped down and cleaned with raw human sewage? Or a hospital for an operation, would you get an operation in an operating room that had been cleaned with raw human sewage? Now, I expect the director of the FBI and the Attorney General of the United States to answer these questions, right along with the President and Mike Pence, the Vice President, and the governors that are locking everybody up in their homes and subjecting them to travel restrictions and quarantines and mandatory mask orders. Why is it that the government sewers all over America are dumping billions upon billions upon billions upon billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of gallons of raw human sewage all over the countryside? Just like they do it in Wuhan, China, by the way. Wuhan, China, Mexico, Italy, Germany, France, England, all over the world. Why are the governments dumping vast amounts of raw human sewage into the environment? I certainly want the officials from Warren County, New York, and from Albany, New York, at the Department of Environmental Conservation. Why is it that governments all over America are dumping this sewage all over the landscape in the middle of a pandemic? Doesn't make any sense. And if you examine, it was Project 112, Operation SHAD, S-H-A-D. What was the Navy doing spreading bacteria and viruses all over America from 1962 to 1973? And studying disease transmission in the United States. Biological warfare, don't you think they'd get their bacteria and viruses maybe from raw human sewage? Viral warfare, biological warfare. What are these government sewers dumping gazillions of gallons of sewage all over America think they're doing? And why is it that the corporate news media is so afraid? What is the corporate news media afraid of? Why is the government trying to hush this up and whitewash it and keep it quiet? Right in the middle of a pandemic. All the information and links you need are attached below. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, make sure I hear back from you. Ask all the questions you want. And I'd like the American people to explain what the hell is up with billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of gallons of raw human sewage being dumped all over America during a pandemic. They ought to make the sewage dumpers wear masks. They ought to put masks on these sewage dumpings. What the hell's going on, Donald Trump? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it right there. And as always, hasta la vista, God bless, and you can bet your sweet ass we're coming back.